I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler-free review for Resident Evil, the final chapter. Or at least I truly hope this really is the final chapter. I like to try to be balanced in my reviews and have some positives, have some negatives, and things like that. This one, I have fought really hard to have positives. So if I was to have positives about this movie, it's this. If you're a die-hard fan of this franchise, and you could go into this with the right expectations, like this is not a mind-blowing movie, and it's probably not even going to be good, but you could go in with the certain expectations just to set yourself to have fun with it, I think that's the best positive I could come up with this. So if you are a huge fan of this franchise, I don't know, maybe you would like that. But I moderately like this franchise. I thought the first one was really great. I thought the last one before this one that came out today was pretty good. So, came into this one not with high expectations, but what low expectations I had, it kind of flew beneath those. So yeah, sadly for this one, my negatives far outweigh my positives. And one of the first big negatives I have is just how much this movie depends on you being a casual viewer of the franchise. Like, it's depending on you not really caring enough to go back to the last one or remembering things that have happened in the other movies. Yeah, it does a few flashbacks, like a previously on Resident Evil, this, and this happened, and this is the position we're in, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it does that, but slight spoiler alert for the last Resident Evil, that one ended with a cliffhanger, and it was a pretty big cliffhanger, and this one, and it picked up after that cliffhanger. The last one had all this huge thing where the bad guy here, who we know is a bad guy, is actually gonna be a good guy, and now he's got the motivation to help Alice. You get to this one, and it's like, it served to get her here, but now that she's here, let's rewrite it again, we'll explain it away this way, and it's like, are you serious? And then they had more emotional ties to some characters in the last movie than they did in this movie, like one of Alice's clones having a daughter, and that daughter attaching to the Alice that we know in this series, who is not even mentioned in this. Do they explain her away? Yes. But they try not to explain her away because it is sad to think that some child was killed in this franchise, but that's what the whole zombie thing is, isn't it? So whatever. So, we didn't even get that emotional closer to some of those big things where they ended it with the last one. Okay, that was my spoilers for the last one, continuing with this present movie, spoiler-free. Here we go. It just wasn't that good. So, where do I even begin? Here's where I'm gonna begin. Shaky cam! Why is there still shaky cam? Why is this a legitimate thing? Seriously, did you see my ninja kick? I just did too! Ow! Those are the best I've ever done in my life! I'm so glad we have it on film! Can you see that? Can you see when the camera is just constantly shaking and moving? No! This movie had some shaky cam, but not just that. Super fast edits. And every time there was an action sequence, that's what they did. Shaky cam and super fast cut, super fast cut, super fast cut, combined with shaky cam. And so, I couldn't even sit there and enjoy, my favorite part of this franchise, which is the mindless action violence of Alice beating the living tar out of zombies and bad guys. That's, the most fun of the whole franchise. And I felt robbed of that because they had to shake the camera so much. They had to do fast cuts so much. Seriously, it got to this point that whenever anything of any consequence or any action scene was happening, I just kind of threw my hands up in the air and went, you know what? I'll let you guys catch me up in the really bad exposition when this is done and when I figure out who lived and who died. There's scenes where there's traps and people are dying. It's like, who just died? Wait, did I know that person's name? No, I didn't know that person's name. By the music and tone, I should be caring. Yeah, I thought the story is pretty weak. This being the final chapter, they tried to put this major twist and spin on it. And yet, I have to say, in the middle of a movie, there's a scene that happened and I went, oh! Okay, I kind of see where you're going with that. And then, when she's, fighting the main bad guy in this one, they totally ripped off Sherlock. And I won't say too much more, but you know how in Sherlock with Robert Downey Jr., how he goes through his head and he plays out how he's going to beat the tar out of the guys. And then the second Sherlock, he goes to fight Moriarty, but Moriarty does the same thing and kind of plans out the fight. They totally ripped that off, put it in this movie, and didn't even pull it off as good as the other movie, because as they're going in their heads how they're going to fight, shaky cam, fast cuts, can't see. I ran out of breath. You know, I don't like getting passionately negative about things. I really do try to find the positive in things. But this one, the shaky cam is one of my biggest annoyances in Hollywood, my biggest annoyances in these kind of movies. And on top of the fact that I know I'm going into this where I know it's a weak story, where I know it's going to be super predictable, the reason I'm here is to watch the awesome action sequences, and then I'm robbed of that through this horrible shaky cam. I mean, there was a point in the theater where I was just squirming in my seat, like, can we just go? I mean, I just reached a point where I didn't care. I didn't care if they ever cured the T-virus. I didn't care if they ever end the zombie apocalypse. I didn't care if Alice lived or died. I reached a point where I didn't care. I think in the end, I'm going to give this movie a D. I was going to go with D+, then I realized how little I actually do like this movie. Again, if you're really into this franchise, I still think you can have fun with it. And I think there is some fun to be had with it, but for me, where I could have had fun with it, I was robbed of that, and it really made me kind of angry. So, I don't know. If this is truly the conclusion, not a very good one. So, what did you think of this movie if you happen to go see it? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button and become a Durbanian. There's that little bell right next to the subscribe button. Click that and be notified the moment I drop a new video like Sean Chandler, the channel Sean Chandler talks about. He and I are going to embark on an epic quest to retro review all 3 of the Hobbit movies. Cody Leach, another great YouTube channel, he and I are going to have a conversation about the state of the DCEU and the present DC movies that are out and where we hope they go with it in the future and things like that. That's also going to be an amazing conversation, so lots of great things ahead. Hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. I'm Durbin. Thank you for checking out Durbania.